Now at 10 a.m., we will bring this budget workshop to order. 27th day of August, Monday. Let the record show Larry Hulsey, John Curtis, Danny Chambers, Kenneth Wood, and Don Krantz are all present. And Brian, I guess it's back to you.
Yes, sir. We're kind of going back and just kind of reviewing a couple of things. Number one, we made the salary changes to the budget worksheet in anticipation of your approval of this morning's proposed elected salaries. And so that falls in line with the email that I sent each one of you. Hopefully you received that. And so that changed that change was a net of about, if I remember correctly, $3,300 or something to the budget, which increased our as we stand right now, the budget rate to 0.4892232 on our proposed tax rate. Judge, I did go ahead and make the changes to the clerk's office as you proposed, and made the changes come out of the different line items that you gave me.
Cool.
That made those there. And then the only other change that I made at this point is down at the golf course. Last time, Jeff had made requests of changing some and giving some increases to his staff, plus the addition of 2 additional staff people on his maintenance line. That took that line up to $268.09. Duff had come in and made a recommendation that we make a raise to Jeff, and so I plugged that in. And then down in the mechanics area, we added a second full-time mechanic, which then I was able to eliminate the part-time of $15,000. And then also in anticipation, I took premium pay down to $150 with the assumption that 2 mechanics we could manage that, and through scheduling, have that taken care of. So the net result is where we stand right now with the golf course is we're actually budgeting a $72,000 deficit if we spent 100% of all the line items on the golf course budget. And so it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be with doing the salary increases, adding the effect of 3 full-time employees.
Okay, what does that put your total?
Well, of course, the golf course doesn't change anything on your tax rate.
Yeah,
because we've got that subsidy set at $200,000. So, any changes we make to the golf course or any of the enterprise funds, unless we increase the subsidy, doesn't affect our tax rate or our general government budget.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going back to our general. What does the 3,000 something?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Make your bottom line?
Total expenditures, the general government, $13,009,063.
I know it's late in the day. Did you hand out a copy of that one as it is, Brian?
Certainly. I should have done that, and I apologize.
No, I thought maybe you did, and I left it laying. That's cool.
I just thought about that myself.
We'll get it next go round.
On golf course enterprise fund.
Yes, sir.
Why don't we just take the money out of the enterprise fund and not have a deficit going into it?
That's effectively what will happen when we budget a deficit. It certainly means that if 100% of every line item is spent, we will pull that $72,000 from their reserves. So that's really what this budget displays.
Okay.
Because unlike the federal government, we just can't go into your office and turn on the printing press that you have that prints money. We'll have to keep it unplugged.
And that still leaves us enough to do the pump station in February, $250, and then whatever we decide to do with the restrooms, build a new set of restrooms, and remodel the older ones.
Correct. And that I only anticipated $25,000 in advertising revenue. I'm hopeful that is more than that
Right.
for the golf course. I will be disappointed if that's all we have achieved there. But I also wanted to make the budget reasonable. But I sure hope we bust that one out of the water pretty quickly.
Jeff, do you have any questions?
No, sir. I'm just concerned about the overtime for mechanics.
But you've got 2 full-time.
Correct.
So, I mean, it's just a management thing. I mean, you'll just have to put them on emergency items, and I mean, it's.
Can we do comp time? Because it's seasonal.
You
so
have
the
some
overtime's gonna be,
contingency funds for that. You have contingency for the golf.
not all year long.
Well, anything else on the golf course?
And I've gotten the final budget on juvenile probation from the state, and I will make those updates before I bring you the printout. But again, that's an agency fund, so it doesn't affect our general fund. It just simply affects that particular fund item.
And this at the library doesn't either. I met with Joan and Miss Bruce and talked to these people with Ancestry.com. The library section is $1,400. She sent me a contract. We decided to move forward with it October 1st. You ask questions about other people using it. She says the IP address is specific to the computer at the library. Nobody else can log in from a home computer on the library edition. So if the county purchases the library edition, the only place it can be used is at the library. It is $1,400. Peggy says she's good with it coming out of the library fund, which is currently at $32,682. She says as long as she had money in there for their summer reading group and the speakers that come and speak. She said that's not a problem at all. So,
Is that a yearly fee?
yes. Yes. And I think I have a copy contract if y'all care to look at it at a later date.
Do we have to approve that at a later date?
Well, it'll be within the budget, and if y'all decide to approve the
Okay,
budget,
I got you.
we'll approve the budget. Right. And then I won't sign it, and it won't take effect till October 1st, when the budget will take effect.
I do need to come back around and clarify something that we talked about last week. Last week I reported that the hotel tax money could be used for equipment. We did some more research, and unfortunately I have to rescind that interpretation. Through communications we had with an expert, that is only available to a certain municipality, and it's specifically excluded from county hotel tax.
Actually, an attorney for the state that deals with hot tax. So we talked to
So
him.
I'm sorry. That is not going to be available to us. We tried skinning that cat 9 different ways with him, prefacing it with, what if we did this, what if we called it that, and it went nowhere. The good news is that the Canada trip with us was greatly embraced. He said that's the kind of stuff he wants to see, is going out of our geographic area and inducing people to come.
So we can pay for that out of hotel tax?
Yes, sir. And, and one of the other things that we'll be presenting to you, we talked with Kelly. There is an association, a Texas Hotel Association, which offers these memberships to all the hotels and bed and breakfasts and gives them access to legal experts and things of that nature, and also puts them on the Texas government website and tourism stuff. That is also something we can use the hotel tax for, is to pay for a group membership that will cover all of it, so we can actually tell the bed and breakfasts, here's something you're getting this membership paid for your inn, and it's also going to list you on the governor's website for tourism and all that kind of good stuff.
And we get access to it also. And he could come and do
He could-
seminars for us.
Training on hotel tax, actually an educational seminar for not only the Commissioners Court, but also the City Council, talking about that.
To cover every hotel, every bed and breakfast, every retreat, every park, the county. What am I missing here? Every hotel, did I already say hotel?
Yes, sir.
The entire year would be $6,300 to cover everybody. Everybody be a membership. And that would come directly out of the hot tax money to expend for that.
So that could help answer the question to any D&D operator, what do you do for me? Well, I pay for your membership in that specifically. If you don't use it, I can't, if you're not calling in and getting those resources, but it's there. And so.
Everybody gets legal advice, seminars, whatever, advertisement. But that's another thing we decide on before we actually vote on
Correct.
how we're going to spend hot tax money.
Is Fossil Realm still soliciting funding for advertisement for the group?
I have not met back with him, but I'll circle around with him this week and
Okay.
see what he's got in the coming year budget.
That's what we're putting together, so Duff was going to need, Fossil Rim was going to need, if we reimbursed him back to the CVB, this to the state. Is that all four that we talked about?
We can help some of our own events.
Right.
The Big Chill, the Inferno Golf Course, we can offset some of the operational expenses. And then the same with the Expos produced events like the big ones, not the Tuesday nights, because those are more local draw, but the big barrel race and things of that nature. We can help with some of those. He just really wanted to make sure that we're tracking zip codes, which obviously with both the golf course and the expo center, we're getting registrations, so we'll know where those zip codes are, the participants, and they just want to see a whole lot of outside of 76043 zip codes. And I will tell you, just as an aside, I sent it to the judge, and I sent it to Jeff and to Duff. There was an article in the Waco paper over the weekend about the state of golf in McLennan County. It's really difficult right now. They have some courses that have closed and some courses that have not been kept up. Squaw Valley was mentioned twice as a place where the folks in Waco go for a good round of golf. So I thought that was interesting, and told Duff maybe we need to turn our attention to a little bit more advertising in the Waco market. Because one guy even considered Squaw Valley being a quote local course.
Yeah. He said he had avenues for 3 other courses besides
Maybe
Waco.
we get a shuttle bus run back and forth. Okay. Is anything to do with either of the enterprise funds? I mean, we're wrapping this budget up pretty quickly, right? We're getting down
Hopefully.
to.
Hopefully.
So are there any?
When we get back to the main budget, I got something I want to talk about, but on enterprise fund, I don't.
Is there anything laying out there that we need to address on the enterprise budget?
Now with the change,
Now that with this good news we got, we can't spend the money.
In light of that, I mean, if there's, if we're needing to do, I know the plan was to use that money for
Yeah.
a piece of equipment and also to do some repairs on some doors. Now that that's not available, I think that's an unaddressed item. So if we need to circle back around to that to see what you want to do with that, but other than that, no, sir.
Okay, let me read. Kenneth and I'll get some fresh numbers on that. We'll take a look and get with you and Frank. Okay.
That it? All right. Back to the regular budget. EMC vehicle. We need to discuss or do some kind of allowance because what we've got him doing right now. And correct me, Brian, if I'm wrong. You're taking your personal vehicle like to Granbury, to Cleburne, to Meridian, wherever you're serving for us right now. You're taking your own personal vehicle, right?
Yeah,
There you go. And I
Or you
can,
turn in mileage?
that's what I was going to say, Brian. Can he turn in mileage on all of that to get reimbursed for anything he does out of his personal?
Certainly can.
If we don't do an allowance for next year, if we don't do the vehicle, because we discussed doing the vehicle this year and then outfitting it next year, and then we discussed not doing anything. We discussed buying a used vehicle. We discussed trying to get him a used vehicle, and that didn't work out.
You can either do it reimbursement. Some counties actually have, like you gentlemen received, a travel allowance that requires no documentation. It's just flowed through payroll, and there it is to compensate. I mean, there's.
Well, I think that we need to make the final determination of whether or not we're going to have any excess left over in this year's budget that might. Once we make that determination, then these other options become available.
Buy the stripped down version that's not outfitted and go from there.
Is that okay?
Yeah, once we make
Yeah.
that decision, and if it could come out this year, then we order before the end of the year.
Make sure it can get delivered here.
Right, which would be tough.
Well, if all we're doing is buying a stock model, it should be.
Sort of like what we did for the golf course.
Right. I mean, in the case of that, it was literally, we took delivery of it a couple days after the court approved it. I mean, because it was on the lot at Classic Chevrolet through God order.
Cool. All right. So maybe going in September, we'll get Brian to research what's local. I think the big deal is four-wheel drive and being able to carry the equipment. But as long as it's local, we can take it by September 30th. If we got the money, then if they decide to vote on it, they can move forward.
Correct.
All right. Well, anything else on budget items? Department items? Department issues? Arguments? Complaints?
Are you looking at me?
Issues. It's always in that corner of the room. Mark is not here today, but it's always in, right there. Brian is not filling in for Mark, right? No.
I know the sheriff's office approached me last time, and approached the judge, I think, that they were, for some reason, they were uninformed that their 570s had been parked out. I don't know how that happened, but anyway, they were really concerned about the additional tasers that they were needing. So just let them know. If they have not approached you, they probably will individually.
Judge, maybe we can rope that corner off.
Put caution tape around it.
Well, you notice Paula moved from up here back there, so she'd be in that bad corner.
Anything else at all today? At all?
I thought we had talked about the tasers and we talked about paying them out.
That's the original step. Now that they're getting the additional SROs, they wanted tasers for them, and then they wanted an additional one for the jailer.
And the 6,500, I think, for swapping out the guns and rifles, I believe. Is that right or wrong, Dwayne? 6,500 for replacement of.
It's 13,000 for the pistols, but then doing the buyback, it would have cost the county about 6,000 to get 30 new pistols and the 9mm exchange.
And I think there was some money in there for rifles. Thank you for pulling that up. Yeah, 4 rifles.
Yes, sir. And the tasers we put in there for 6,000, and that's actually dropped. It would have been a lease program with the tasers. I think it was 1,600.
16, 14.
1,400, 1,600 for the additional tasers for 3 years.
Leasing the additional ones.
$1,820.
Well, Brian, be prepared to turn around and slap me, okay? I know we'll just keep whittling away at what we're going to put into reserve for this year, but if there's something there that actually 100% needs to be taken care of besides the vehicle and anything there that the court wanted to take care of this year before we go into next year's budget, how is that going to be a possibility in September? Because I know we're running out of time to get it done.
Right. I think the tasers are probably one of those that's very doable because that's obviously an off-the-shelf item. They're not, the vehicle is the thing we have to check on. That's the only one that would be concerning because in order for us to have it in this year's budget, not only do we have to approve it, but we have to take delivery of it. And so.
And that would only be on Brian because the vehicles for them have already been approved out of next year's budget. the guns, the rifles, and the tasers, if they come up with a total price of what that would be, if they decide to vote to put that to bed by September 30th, then we wouldn't have to look at that next year, right?
I think we may have some money for the rifles in this year's budget, if we can come back to y'all at the time. Actually, we're trying to get a price on that right now, so we can come back to y'all and maybe do it out of this year's budget that's remaining.
Good. So then that would just leave us the trade-off on the guns, if you decide to try to do that, as the court did, and the tasers. So we're looking at 6,000 and whatever, 14, about $7,500.
Yeah,
79, 8,000.
correct. It's, the first year's payment on this is $1,820, and then it drops to $1,400.
And really, in essence, all we're doing is hurting what we're sliding in reserve. I mean, the overall, we're not, yeah. Is that how you see it? I mean, as far as the...
Sure, I mean, everything has a cost.
Right.
And so that's what it is. I mean, what we'd be doing is basically changing direction on the mindset of us to try to get the reserve back to a nice, comfortable area.
Instead of having $500,000 put in there, we might have $250,000 put in there, roughly, something like that. Okay, so the time crunch is coming. We need to get all the numbers together and get back to the court as soon as we can to see what we're going to try to do in September and what we're going to do in next year's budget.
Right. Obviously there's two mindsets there. The earlier we can put this to bed, I know everybody's happy, and Commissioner Curtis and Kranz can continue their countdown. However, the longer we leave it
It had
open,
never stopped.
the longer we leave it open, the more opportunities we have to make adjustments to it too. So,
Yep.
Well, and I'm not trying to hold y'all longer than I have to, but let's go over right quick what we're talking about trying to clean up this year out of the money that we were going to put in reserve. We're talking about EMC truck.
yes, sir.
We're talking about pistols for Sheriff's Department. Tasers for Sheriff's Department. What about, which in open court I can't say what I call it, what about that device they're wanting for the expo? Were we planning on wanting to do that? How were we going to even look at that if we were going to look at that?
You would have to just basically, like we talked about here, is increase the subsidy to push it down. I mean, the county doesn't necessarily buy it directly.
Right.
We would push the money down to the enterprise fund to purchase it. But, that would be one of those specialty items that I would question its delivery by September 30th. I don't
Okay.
know.
So that may be a thing for next year. All right. EMC truck, pistols, tasers. What am I missing that we talked about trying to clean up?
Talked about rifles, but I don't know if that's...
And my rifles may be done this year, right?
Okay.
Yes, sir, that's what we're hoping. We should have a price on the rifle today. And those rifles are for the schools, the SRO officers.
Right.
We purchased gun safes and placed them in the schools and strategic locations, and we just need something else.
And the only other thing we discussed, correct me if I'm wrong, that we really won't know till the last minute, day by day, week by week, so it's taken to keep the expo alive until September 30th.
Correct.
And in that, as that money is drawn out of there, then we'll finally see on September 30th what we definitely have.
That's correct.
There's other things we can clean up. Expo is going to be right down to the wire.
Right. We moved 98.5 the other day to it after this court session, and that was enough to get them through August and payrolls, and that will allow us to see what collections they have for the month of August. And then the clerk and I, and that was the specific reason why we had that motion worded the way it was, is so that then the treasurer and I could get together, look at the numbers of what their needs are going to be in September, and make some scientific estimates.
All right.
We both throw things at the wall and see which one sticks, basically.
And I know I'm repeating myself, but am I missing anything that we need to worry about between now and September 30th? EMC, pistols, tasers, and expo.
Nothing that comes to mind, no, sir.
What's the estimated cost on the pistols and tasers?
You got there $1,800 for the tasers. If we were going to do the lease, $1,820. You have that sheet.
And our cost out of pocket out of the county will be about $6,500 for the pistols.
Here, and then the next
414.
What about the fiscal?
Our original report had $6,500.
Yeah, I think after the trade and the buyback.
Approximately 6,500.
All right. Going once. Going twice. I guess, do I have a motion?
I make a motion we adjourn this budget workshop.
I have a motion by Kenneth.
We have a second.
Have a second by Don. All in favor of said motion. That's 5 for, 0 against. Susie, if you and Darlene don't mind initialing this and picking up the new.
I'll make the changes to juvenile probation and we'll have